Good morning friends, welcome to my channel. Today we will be speaking about agreements. All of you know that most of the dealings need agreements, something like rent agreement, lease agreement. You have the franchisee agreement, there are so many types of such agreements. Also for each understanding between two or more parties in the sense people, for each understanding and agreeing to each other's terms and conditions, we call it as an agreement. That is in simple English too. But when the same thing is put in on a paper, it becomes a legal document. Okay? It can be lease agreement, rent agreement, franchise agreement, leave and license agreement. Like that, you have so many types of agreements. So all these are executed. Now when it comes to these agreements, some of the agreements are compulsorily registrable. Some agreements need not be registered. Okay, so earlier if you actually go to see, rent agreement was not registrable, right? Only certain agreements were registrable. Now if you see in Karnataka, for example, where I am stationed, here it is compulsorily registrable. The rent agreement, lease agreement, whatever it is compulsorily registrable. Earlier we had to register it only if it was more than 11 months, more than 12 months. So now it is like whether it is for few months or more, there are the conditions which have been changed. Likewise, the advance amount for the rent agreement, rental premises, all these have been changed. Now we are not getting into all those nitty-gritties. What I am trying to tell you is agreements, some are registrable, some are not registrable. Same way when you are writing down the agreements. For example, see, you have the mortgage deed and the loan agreement. There are so many such agreements which are compulsorily registrable. Some agreements which are not registrable. Again, if you go to see, some of the agreements, if you prepare it in a 200 rupees stamp paper, in Karnataka I am talking, if you prepare it on a 200 rupees stamp paper, that would suffice. Most of the agreements need the stamp paper as per stamp duty. Okay, something like the sale agreement, that is the agreement to sell. And now of course you have the rent agreement also, which needs to be as per the stamp duty. So you have to keep in mind, if somebody says, it's very common for us to say, it's okay, we'll just do it as it is. Some say that, why do you want to take a 200 rupees stamp paper? You just write the agreement, you just sign on it. On a 100 rupees stamp paper, that is more than enough, it is legally valid. So, though it may be legally valid as an agreement, the contents of the agreement, it may itself be valid, legally valid. But it has to be, if it is on a properly paid stamp duty stamp paper, then it would have more validity. Not only the contents, even the paper will have validity, and in case, God forbid, but in case, it is very common nowadays, any dispute occurs, then you can very easily approach the appropriate court of law for your benefit. Whatever is the relief, whatever is the solution you want, whatever is the relief that you want from the court, you can very easily approach the court if it is properly executed. When I say executed, agreement has to be properly executed. What do you mean by executed? Executed means it should be on a proper stamp paper, as I already told you, stamp duty. If it has to be registered, then it should be registered. If it is compulsorily registrable, then it should be registered. Otherwise, it is okay even if it is not registered. Okay. Then you have the execution, that means the signature of the parties. Both the parties should have signed on it. And there should be witnesses' signatures as well. So if everything is complete, then it is known as a properly executed document. So when you are getting into an agreement, what you have to see is whether it attracts stamp duty. If it attracts stamp duty, then how much is the stamp duty? Clear? And it is always better, even if you are spending a little money on the agreement for paying the stamp duty, it will keep you in good stead. It will help you when you need it. Okay? So this is something on the similar lines of, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If you protect dharma, that is your duty. It is not any religion or anything. If you do your duty properly, that particular duty which you have done will protect you. So it is the same, where there is a stamp duty which is attracted as per law. If you pay the required stamp duty, then that particular stamp paper will help you in times of need. It is a simple allegory, so you can, and it has to be properly executed. The parties, who are the actual parties, should sign on it. Any consenting witnesses or any witnesses, the signature should be there. Contents of the agreement should be proper. Okay, and more important, the title of the agreement should be important. See, sometimes what happens, we tend to be in a hurry. So we say, even if it is a lease agreement, we put it as a rent agreement. Now there's a slight difference between rent and lease agreement. Okay, but some people, they get confused and they write lease agreement even for rent agreement. It is okay, it is interchangeable, but not in all cases. So such small things, if you keep in mind while executing, while preparing an agreement, it will be helpful for you at all times. Okay, we will meet in the next session. Thank you.